18th, Calamasa Joint Unified School District Board meeting for Competitive Edge Charter Academy. And I will note that all board members were present with the exception of board member Kathy, who was unable to be here today. Would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, 1.04 is approval of the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda as presented? Okay, do I have a motion to approve? Motion to approve. I got a motion by board member Bannister. I have a second.
Second.
Second by board member Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, passes 4-0. Do we have any public comment for CECA? No. Okay, we're moving on to the consent calendar. Are there any items any board member would like to have considered separately on the consent calendar? Okay, no, hearing none, I'll take a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented.
Move to approve.
Got a motion by board member Bob Miller, a second. Second. By board member Bannister. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Chair votes aye. Motion carries 4-0. Is there any additional administrative information, Mr. Mead or Ms. Davis?
Thank you, President Snellings. I would just say that we had the opportunity to visit summer school at CECA, and we started out with Ms. Pittman as the summer school principal, and she did a fabulous job. And then we got to finish today with Mr. Mead, who is back in his seat, doing all kinds of different things, but it was great. We talked to kids that were from Parkview that were attending there, so it was, mixed district use, and the kids were really excited and had so much fun. And they did their testing today to see the growth that they've had after attending the sessions. And I wanted to thank Mr. Mead. When our principals come back on campus and they have summer school on their campus, they immediately become the summer school principal, and he had other things to do. And so he was doing lots of summer school, and then I think he was doing 1,000 other things. So thank you, Mr. Mead, for supporting summer school at your site.
Okay, great. Board member comments, board member Bob Miller? Nothing, sir. Okay.
Thank you for doing all that. And I noticed the drawing paintings are from CECA. Oh, I love that.
Board member Bannister? Okay. Thanks for being here, and we are adjourned. We're going to call to order the July 18th, 2023 regular Board of Education meeting of the Ukiah Mesa Joint Unified School District. If you wouldn't mind joining us in reciting the pledge. Begin.
I pledge to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would like to note that all board members are present, with the exception of board member Kathy Coate, who could not join us this evening. Moving on to 3.04, the approval of the agenda. Are there any items changed on the agenda?
No, President Stillings, thank
Okay.
you.
So do I have a motion to approve the agenda as it's presented?
Move approval.
I have a motion by board member Sharon Bannister, second by board member Debbie Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye, motion carries. We do have some reports out from closed session. I'm actually going to announce 3 new employees. I'm going to do all 3 of them in a row. And then I'm going to ask each of you individually to come up and just come to the podium and introduce your family or whatever it is that you'd like to do once we go through these. So in closed session, the Board of Education took action on a motion made by board member Debbie Miller and a second by board member Sharon Bannister, followed by a 4-0 vote to appoint Scott Colleen to the position of Dean of Students for Parkview Middle School. In closed session, the Board of Education took action on a motion made by board member Bob Miller and a second by board member Sharon Bannister, followed by a 4-0 vote to appoint Lauren Wiley to the position of mental health coordinator for the Student Services Department. And also in closed session, the Board of Education took action on a motion made by me and a second by board member Debbie Miller, followed by a 4-0 vote to appoint Jana Stewart to the position of Special Education Coordinator for the Student Services Department. Congratulations. Would you like to come up first? Just introduce yourself and brought anybody with you? No. I'm not going home with her.
My name is Scott Queen. I just want to say I really appreciate this chance to be Dean of Students at Parkview. I'm very grateful for Heather and Julie and our staff. They've been very supportive in my journey to get here. Quick journey, but it's a journey. I'd like to thank my wife, Brittany Bay. Brittany. She's been very supportive, and I really do appreciate that. So I'm excited to get started, hopefully sooner than later. And I'm just really excited. So I appreciate you. I'm very happy to be here. So thank you.
All right, congratulations, Scott. Lauren, come on up.
Everyone, I'd like to introduce my mother, my brother, and my sister-in-law
Hello.
today. And then I wrote a little something I'd like to say.
Okay, go ahead.
Good evening, YCJUSD, Board of Education, Cabinet, and everyone. I'm grateful and excited to be appointed as the new and first YCJUSD Mental Health Coordinator under the guidance of Executive Director of Student Services, Leslie Burkhart. Over the past 5 years as a YCJUSD Behavioral Health Counselor, I've witnessed our district as a collective group deeply invest in social, emotional, behavioral, mental health supports for our students. I've also learned of the outstanding mental health work that occurred long before my time here. I felt proud and have loved being a part of YCJUSD as we have brought emotional solace to our students so they can focus on academic success. With confidence, I know that we will continue to make a difference in the life of each child through the support of mental health services. And as your mental health coordinator, I will work as hard as I can to uphold our district's mission with integrity, accountability, adaptability, compassion, teamwork, and excellence. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Lauren. Okay, welcome aboard. Yeah, let's do it. Hi, Jenna.
Hello. So who I have with me, I have my mom and my dad, and my daughter, Peyton, and then my boyfriend.
Very good.
And I too just had a few words, and I just wanted to say that I'm honored to be selected as the special education coordinator for the Student Services Department. I'm excited to serve this district, especially the special populations of students with disabilities. I'm fortunate to return to Yucaipa County to join Unified School District, where I attended Yucaipa High School as a student and have the privilege of teaching at both Yucaipa High School and elementary. Furthermore, my two daughters attended, graduated, and thrived with both CECA and at YHS. So again, I'm committed to my new position and making a positive impact in the lives of students with disabilities within this district. So thanks again for the
All
opportunity.
right, thank you very much. Welcome aboard. Congratulations to Leslie too. All right. Okay, thank you, everybody. And don't feel compelled to leave to stay for the entire meeting if you don't want to. We will not be offended if you get up and leave at any point in time. I never saw you move so fast, Scott. Thank you for coming, everybody. We appreciate it. Okay, we're now moving on into public comment. We do have one item. Travis Burton. Welcome, Mr. Burton. Oh, okay, we can do that. Okay, we'll pull that separately. Okay. Now we're moving on to our action session. 5.01. This is the approval of the Colton Redlands Yucaipa ROP Joint Powers Agreement. Do I have a motion for approval of this item? Move approval. I have a motion by Board Member Bannister and a second by Board Member Debbie Miller. Any questions or comments for the superintendent?
Just confirming that this is 1 year, right? And then possible.
Yes, it's a 1-year extension that the CRIROP board decided would be a good way to start the new superintendent with the contract staying the same. Also, with the new superintendent in Redlands, as this is Colton, Redlands, and Yucaipa, it makes it probably a better timeline and seamless transition.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Passes 4-0. 5.02 is a sub-grantee project agreement with the San Bernardino Community College District. I believe this is related to our adult ed program and funding. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
I have a motion by Board Member Debbie Miller, and I will second. Any questions? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries 4-0. 5.03 is business services. This is kindergarten playground grass and irrigation for Dunlap Elementary School. This is approval of the purchase and installation. I have a motion by Board Member Sharon Bannister. I have a second.
Second.
Second by Board Member Debbie Miller. Any questions or comments?
No, I just, President, I'm just glad to see this happen and well needed. I know it was on the list, but thanks, Eric, for getting that going.
Yeah. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries 4-0. The next item is 5.04. This is approval of a contract for the improvement, a concrete improvement in Yucaipa High School and student services. I have a motion for approval.
So moved.
A motion by Board Member Debbie Miller. I'll second the item. Any questions or comments? Concrete's always good. Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries 4-0. Item 5.05 is RFP number 42223, and this is to accept the low bid and authorize the district to enter an agreement to manage technology services with Vector USA. I have a motion for approval.
So moved.
I have a motion by Board Member Debbie Miller. We have a second.
Second.
Second by Board Member Sharon Bannister. Any questions or comments related to this item?
Just confirming there was only one vendor that submitted on this?
That's correct, Mr. Miller. We had this item at our last board agenda. We went out for bid for managed technology services. We had one, Vector USA was the one. We rebid the same managed technology services, and Vector also on the second bid was only ones to bid. We've reached out to 5 different companies we knew of, but Vector was the one that we posted the bid process, the newspaper, and did all the proper procedures, but still only Vector USA is the bidding party.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Motion carries 4-0. Item 5.06 is another bid for radio communication devices district-wide, and we're accepting the low bid. Do I have a motion for approval?
Move to approve.
I have a motion by Board Member Bob Miller. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Board Member Sharon Bannister. Any questions or comments related to this item? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries 4-0. That's a good purchase too. Okay. 5.07 is educational services. This is the approval of the YCJUSD adult school course titles. Do I have a motion for approval?
Move approval.
I have a motion by Board Member Sharon Bannister, and I'll second the item. Any questions regarding the adult school classes? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 4-0. 5.08 business services. This is a classroom building for YCJUSD adult school. This is the approval of purchase of a classroom building. And I believe that we already made approval on the plan of this project. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, all right. Yeah, just wanted to remind everybody. Okay, so do I have a motion for approval?
Move approval.
I have a motion by Board Member Bannister, second.
Second.
Board Member Debbie Miller, second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Passes 4-0. 5.09 is Ed Services. This is approve the purchase of a pair of Palo Alto networks and firewalls for our computer system or network. Do I have a motion for approval?
Move approval.
I have a motion by Board Member Bannister, a second.
Second.
Second by Board Member Debbie Miller. Questions, comments?
I have a question, President.
Okay.
Who do I direct it to?
That would be me.
Hi, Jamie.
Hi, Mr.
Dr.
Miller.
Anderson, appreciate it. It seems like over this past year, we've had a few things come before us on firewall protection. If I have that wrong, Superintendent, let me know, but I think we've had a couple of things come. And this is a $291,000 bid. I don't know, it looks like it's sole source or something. And what protections are we really getting from this? Number one, and then number two, the second part, who else is using this around us? It's the school district, police department, county government. Who else is using this company? Palo Alto Networks.
So first, the other items that were purchased earlier in the year were servers. So this is the only firewall. So we have one firewall unit for our entire school district. Part of the reason why we need a firewall is to protect student data, and it's also to prevent data breaches. I know everyone's probably heard of in the news where people have had malware attacks, and either that information's been held for ransom, and or if districts or organizations have paid the ransom, they haven't been released all of the information necessarily. And it also protects our students from accessing things that they shouldn't be as well. And then it also complies with regulations to protect our students' data. Part of that piece of the equipment and looking at it, our consultation with digital advisors has been beneficial to us because this actual piece of equipment, we're getting way more for this price than what anybody could ever get. And part of that is part of the services for cybersecurity as well. So the purchase price includes not only the equipment itself, but also cybersecurity consultation if something ever does happen and our district is attacked in some sort of way. Part of that too is the company currently doesn't work with any other school districts in San Bernardino County, but this particular company does work with other organizations.
I was looking on the contract itself, on the top or the bid, actually, the whole confirmation. And it talks about Unit 42 public sector expertise on command subscription level 1. We have with 24 hours remote response time. So they'll respond within a day, right? Up to 50 consulting hours. And once you run out of the 50 hours, is that it? Or what if we have something that's ongoing? We have a major, some malware attack or something.
So part of this is on top of what our services would also be included with Vector. So Vector right now is also the company that we just looked at previously in the previous board agenda item. So this is also including any support that we would need as well. And I think it's important to note that when we also consulted and looked at the different pieces with cybersecurity, when we heard back from this past year, we learned a lot. And I know our technology team did a great job because I know we wanted to learn and how to prevent any not only internet outage, but also really do our due diligence with cybersecurity pieces. So part of that is any downtime isn't okay. And we heard back from our students and our staff about how that negatively impacted them.
Right. And was this a sole source vendor? I mean, how did
No, it wasn't. We looked out and our technology team, Mr. Kirkland, did a great job working with our digital advisors consultant and looking out at different technology vendors as well and what would be available.
you know, maybe it's me, maybe I'm slow, but it seems like a lot of money. It's $300,000 for this. I mean, it's risk management 101, right? We do have malware attacks that happen quite often. We haven't here in the county. We're aware of that won't happen, but seems like a lot of money. And were these the lowest bidders or just the best? These are the folks we think that they're going to do the best job for us.
It was both. And then part of that, firewalls are a necessity. This isn't something that we're just doing to do. Part of our work in looking at our infrastructure is that we needed pieces replaced because it's important not only to get updates, but make sure that we're protecting our students and our staff information.
Maybe I'm out of touch with technology costs. It just seems like a lot of money for a firewall system. I mean, you don't have to answer it. There's nothing to answer, but it's just, it seems like a lot of money. If that's the industry now, wow. I mean, we should have our young people getting into this field.
We're trying.
Yeah.
Yeah, President Stillings, may I? Just to add to what Dr. Anderson is talking about, one of the things that we have access to is the County of San Bernardino's technology department. And when we had our outage, we relied on them quite a bit. They are a part of a consortium that we belong to, but their expertise doesn't go as far as having the consultants that are out there. And I want you to know, because I think it's important, you know, we know that every dollar that is spent out of this district is critical. But what I want to make sure you understand is that we are the low price for the lowest firewall is what we really got for the best firewall. And that is because our consultant, who is very well respected, was able to leverage the fact that Palo Alto has been serving, you know, the area around them, but hasn't had the opportunity to serve in San Bernardino County, as Jamie or Dr. Anderson pointed out. So we would have been charged probably, what would you say, Jamie? Another 150,000 and more than that. So we really, we would have paid for the same price for something less. And I think that the way how we're looking at it is that we're extremely grateful that, as a couple of people put it, how did you get a Ferrari for the cost of a Toyota? And so I will be able to share with our colleagues the way this works, and that's kind of how we got a good price.
You know, when you look at, we're always looking at the funding source, and it's whether how much is grant funded versus how much is general fund. It's a lot. That's a big hit of the general fund for us. You know, I just want the comfortability factor. That's not really a word, but I want that comfortability that this is the right thing to do. Because how do you vote no for for protection? No, of course we want to protect things. That's a lot of money that we could use for other things. You know, go ahead.
Well, and I would point out, we have a lot of data to protect. We have all of our students and our employees and a lot of information. And I think when things went down, we realized how dependent we are on all this. So it's a lot of money. but it's it's a protection of something that's very valuable. So,
May I, President Stillings?
yeah.
Minneapolis School District, much larger district than us, had a ransom attack, and they chose not to do what they could have done, and the people that had it released all of their student data, all of their social security numbers, all of their special education files, all of their grades, all of their discipline records. All of those pieces are out, and that's the reality. When San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department was hit, they still don't have some of their operations back up, and so it's a necessary evil to spend this money, and I just want the board to know and the public to know that the due diligence was done, and we got a really good firewall.
Thank you, Superintendent. And I have full confidence our staff's done due diligence on this. It just seems like a lot of money, but thank you for listening to me. Appreciate it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any noes?
Not slowly, aye.
Okay. Chair votes aye, motion carries 4-0. We're moving on to the consent calendar. Are there any items that any board member would like pulled separately on the consent calendar? I would like to note that there's notice of completion for the drama update, the drama room update, and also the painting of ILCS. So those are good to see those happen. Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented?
Move to approve.
I have a motion by board member Bob Miller, second. Second by board member Debbie Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries 4-0. Now we're moving on to the information proposal session 7.01. Mr. Burton. Welcome.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I wasn't going to speak on this, but since I'm a layman, I kind of need a little bit of help on clarification on some of these things. So I'm looking at the attachment on the bylaw itself, and I'm looking at paragraph number 4. The paragraph starts with however, that's struck
You're on the
out.
first page, right? Travis?
First page,
Yeah,
paragraph
gotcha.
4.
Gotcha.
Starts with however, and it's struck out.
Yeah.
So I guess I need a little clarification. I'm going to read it in my. The agenda does not need to provide an opportunity for public comment on an item that has been previously considered at an open meeting by a committee comprised exclusively of board members, provided that the board members of the public were afforded the opportunity to comment on the item before or during the committee's consideration of the item. And the item has not been substantially changed since the committee considered it. So I guess what I'm asking is that based on consent agenda items? Or is the board not allowing the public to comment on items that were previously discussed? That's what I'm trying to understand. So if I could get some clarification on that, that'd be great.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Burton. Okay, so we have 7.01, the review that Mr. Burton just talked about. 7.02 is the Williams Uniform Complaint Report. I don't believe there's any items on that, correct? Remember? And then there's also the first, we're receiving a revised administrative regulation related to vacation days and holidays to just bring that up to date. Any questions or comments on any of those? Okay. We're on to 8.01, additional administrative information. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate everyone being here during the summer. It's nice to, I wanted to mention that we have a new Colton Redlands YCJUSD Regional Occupational Programs Superintendent. It's the longest title for anybody to have. Scott Rain is here, who's our coordinator in our district. We appreciate you being here at the meeting. Dr. Jason Engel on August 1st, I believe, will be the new superintendent. And we mentioned earlier in the meeting, that's why we have an extension on the contract for ROP. And then we also have a new superintendent, as I said, in Redlands. And so we've had an opportunity to meet, and that went extremely well. And I know that Board Member Bannister serves as the president of the Cry Rock Board. President Snellings serves as a board member on the board, and Debbie Miller has been an alternate. And so we were able to wish Tracy Zerpoli, the retiring superintendent, well, and that was a very, very nice event. Thank you to both Board Member Bannister, Board Member Debbie Miller, and President Stellings for allowing myself and the Colton Joint Unified Superintendent to speak at that meeting and be a part of the celebration. Our ROP program is really strong, and we have a great relationship in our consortium, and we appreciate that work. Also, just another comment on summer school. I mentioned in the CECA meeting that Mr. Mead was there. We had moved the summer school program from Yucaipa High School to Mesa View because Eric had done a lot of projects at the high school. The custodial team is grateful for Eric moving to summer school because it gives them an opportunity to do some deep cleaning and storm repairs. I don't think people realize that Yucaipa High School is used every day of the school year, inside and out. And so it does take a beating. And so this has been an opportunity for his team to go in and really help. And then I see Kathy Pearson, who's the Mesa View principal. That is where the high school summer school was held. And so she hosted them, and now her team is feverishly getting ready for the kickstart that we will have to welcome our employees back. And so we are excited. It's always quiet around here when they're gone. It got a little noisier when the principals came back. Grateful for that. And we also wanted to let you know that we are working, Lance and Stephanie and the tech team are working on a new system for enrollment, which has been pretty seamless this year. And so we're really excited that our parents have had access to the portals. Things have been really smooth, and there really hasn't been any glitches on that. So I'm grateful for that as well. Yes.
Okay. Now we're going on to board member comments. Board Member Bannister.
I would say welcome to our new employees, or employees in their new positions, and good luck getting everything started.
Welcome back to all principals. I know makes your summer seem short, but for those that aren't back yet, enjoy the rest of the summer, and those that are back already, thank you for everything, always.
Thank you, President Snellings. I'm going to ask for a little leeway for a couple of minutes. And been talking to quite a few people, especially over the summer, about, Bob, what does an SRO really do? You know, you keep talking about school resource officers. Well, what does that really mean to a community? And it means this. I mean, what it does is it prevents and helps respond to school-based crimes. School resource officers that are embedded in the schools can deter crime by their presence and can also investigate and respond to crimes that occur. They foster positive relationships among law enforcement, educators, and youth. SROs can build trust and rapport with students, which can help prevent crime and make students feel safer. They can also help educate students about the law and the role of law enforcement in the community. They help promote a positive school climate. SROs can be a valuable resource for school administrators and teachers, and they help create an orderly learning environment. I get asked, what's the data say, Bob? You know, what does it mean? How do you measure it? Well, there is some debate about the effectiveness of SROs. That's clearly, if you read anything online through community ordering, policing, or any of the Department of Justice information. But there is evidence it can be part of a comprehensive school safety plan. A study by the National Institute of Justice found that SROs can reduce the number of school-based violent crimes. Other studies have found that SROs can improve student attendance and academic performance. Of course, SROs are not the panacea for school safety. They are just one part of a comprehensive approach that should include things like strong school policies, effective violence prevention programs, and supportive school communities. So here's some specific benefits that I outlined on why to have SROs in schools. It's problem solving clearly. Number one, SROs can help resolve conflicts between students and staff. They can also help address larger safety issues as they emerge. There's also an educational component to it. SROs can help provide students with education about law and crime and prevention and personal safety. So in summary, SROs can play an important role in keeping schools safe and providing students with a positive learning environment. However, it is important to note that SROs are not the substitute for other important school safety measures which we have enacted this year, such as strong school policies and effective violence prevention programs. So the question always comes, how do you fund it? There are several ways to fund SROs in the community. Some of the most common options are the following. Government funding, that's us and the city. Many governments, both local and state, provide funding for SRO programs. The funding can come from a variety of sources, such as a general fund, school budget, or law enforcement budget. There's also a private donation component. Private donations from individuals, businesses, and foundations can also be a major source of SRO funding. These donations can be made directly to the school district or to a nonprofit organization that supports SRO programming. Grants are another way. There are a number of grants out there, especially through Department of Justice. These grants can be from federal, state, or local government or from private foundations. Fundraising is also an option for some communities. There's things you can do to fundraise, such as bake sales, car washes, 5K runs, is also another way to raise money for SRO programs. In addition to these traditional sources of funding, there are a number of innovative ways to fund SRO programs. For example, some communities have partnered with businesses to provide funding for SROs. These businesses may provide financial or in-kind donations or volunteer hours. Another innovative way that's recently come to light is through crowdsourcing. Crowdsourcing allows individuals to donate small amounts of money to cause what they care about, the cause they care about. This could be a great way to raise money for SRO programs. But bottom line is, no matter what the funding source we choose, it is important to make sure that the funding is sustainable. That means you need to have a plan for how the funding will be used in the long term. You also need to make sure that the funding is aligned with the goals of the SRO program. Some tips from my law enforcement partners, mostly retired. You have to create a strong case for funding to make sure you have a clear understanding of the benefits of the SRO program and how they can help improve school safety. You need to build a coalition of support. Get parents, teachers, students, businesses, and other community members involved, and you have to be persistent. If anything, our staff knows I'm persistent. And it may take some time to secure funding for SR programs, but in the end, you don't give up. You know what that North Star is, and you keep trying to get to it. So thank you for the extra time, President Stone.
Okay, we are adjourned.